I want to talk about quitting substances, quitting addictions. I'm out here looking a little crazy. I'm like swollen. I'm having some allergic reaction. I don't know. I barely slept. I'm in my pajamas. And if you saw my first video, I shared that like being authentic and raw with you guys is important. So who cares about that? I'm just gonna go for it. I want to share while I am in the emotion that I'm experiencing so that you can feel that you're not alone. So I've overcome several addictions throughout my life. I never in a million years thought that quitting nicotine was going to be one of the hardest. My brain chemistry is not doing great. I'm going cold turkey. And I guess when I quit other substances, I still had like the fallback of marijuana or nicotine to help regulate, and as someone who is neurodivergent, the stimulant is self-regulating. I'm 32 years old. I've been smoking since I was like 11 or 12. And I just want to talk about how it's not easy. It's not easy, but we can do it. We can do it. And first things first, if you're going to quit, if you're trying to quit, don't make the mistake that I made. Don't dive into it without a support system. I'm not going to talk about the benefits of nicotine replacement therapy versus just going cold turkey, because I'm just going cold turkey. I don't really have a leg to stand on to compare. I know it's recommended by a lot of sources to do the NRT. Personally, I don't want to be addicted to nicotine. That's why I am doing this. I will be completely blatantly honest. I am still smoking herbal cigarettes. I love teas and working with herbs in all sorts of ways. I have a really intense oral fixation. This has been a process. I let go of the vape. Now I'm letting go of the cigarettes. Yes, I was vaping and smoking cigarettes at the same time. It's intense. It's intense. The crazy things that addiction will make you do, right? And then next I will let go of the oral habit, just the smoking habit, because they're not in psychoactive herbs, but still, it's like, and it's okay to be gentle with yourself and do this in layers if you need to, I believe. One thing that I have learned is that as I've started to heal my internal landscape, as I've started to heal my heart center, one of the things that I realized is I've always been incredibly hard on myself. I had these insane expectations of like what I thought I should be able to do at any given moment. And I'd really go from 0 to 100, right? And when I couldn't do 100, well, I've failed. And I just throw myself back down into 0 or maybe 2 or 4. I wouldn't set myself up for success by being realistic and being kind to myself. And since I started working on healing that within myself, being easier and more gentle and more realistic and allowing myself to take time to do things bit by bit, growth and change has become significantly easier. I did not change very much by emotionally abusing myself. I did not change very much by verbally abusing myself. It was actually through tender, loving kindness, gentleness, patience, nurturing, compassion, and understanding for myself that I'm like, okay. So I can't recommend that enough. Cannot recommend that enough. Be kind and gentle to yourself. And I got a lot of sidetracked, but what I was saying is have a support system when you're ready to quit. Like, go in with a plan. I didn't do that. And I was getting ready to cave and say, I'll start again. I'll cave, and then I will establish a plan for how I'm going to quit next time, and I'll start again. Now, for reference, there's a lot of things that I'm dealing with at once right now. Having gut health issues. I will have my results and be able to start my treatment on the 21st. Suspected candida, suspected maybe SIBO. My gut is in disarray, okay? So that can jack up your mental state too. What I'm able to eat is limited, and I am like, why did I choose to quit smoking now? Like, I know it can help, but I just want to stuff my face. I just want to have sugar. I just want to, well, not sugar. I quit out sugar a while ago, but maple syrup, honey, something sweet, the sweeteners that I was used to using that. After my food sensitivity test, which has suggested potential candida, the GI map will tell us more. But now I'm not having any sweeteners. It's like I'm really deprived right now, and at the end of the day, that's all sense stuff. That's not, my soul's not deprived, my mind, my body. And the reason I chose to do this initially was freedom from slavery to the senses. Freedom from slavery to the senses. We think we're free because we can just do whatever we want whenever we want it, but that's not freedom. That is slavery to the senses. And it's funny because there was a period where I had quit all drugs, including marijuana, about 10 years ago. And up until this point, I'd said, there was this period of my life where I was completely sober. And now that I'm recognizing the psychoactive effects of nicotine, it doesn't feel very psychoactive, but clearly it is. Clearly it is. I'm realizing that I've not been completely sober since I was like 11 or 12 years old. I don't really know my brain at its baseline, and I've done so much healing, so much work on myself. I had this beautiful Kundalini awakening. I have transformed and died and been reborn so many times, and I haven't gotten to meet that person for real yet without the veil of the substance and the slavery to the addiction. And that's a powerful thing to think about, and that's real incentive to keep going. And I share it because maybe it can be incentive for you. I'm talking about me right now, but it's hopefully to inspire you to keep going. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to work on establishing more of a support, a system, a plan, right? So I can keep moving forward without feeling so horrendous or drinking too much coffee or doing things that are not serving me. You know what I mean? On this gut health healing journey, I am eating too much, it's healthy things, safe things, but it's too much. And I need to find a way to, really regulate. And I am meditating. I'm going for walks. I'm it's crazy. I want you to know, this is another thing I wish I had known, okay? Because everybody talks about the 3-day hump, and it wasn't until day 6 that things started to really get bad up here. And day 16, what was that yesterday, was the worst that it's been. And I was so lost about what was going in, what it was. I didn't know what to expect. And after the fact, I did some research because I'm what is wrong with me? And I learned that actually, if you are experiencing symptoms like depression, apparently they'll peak at around 2 weeks. They'll start to subside in about a month. It could take about 3 months for your brain chemistry to return to normal. And I just wish I had known that before I started, I wish I'd known what I was getting into. I want to share that with you. Not everybody gets depression. I've been smoking so fucking long. So it would make sense that my brain ain't braining the way that it should. And become the observer of your thoughts. That's been a big part of my awakening process, and it's helping me immensely because I have these urges, I have these thoughts, and I'm able to be aware of them and not act on them immediately, and they will pass. When you start to master your mind and master your emotions, you aren't affected by them, and you weren't controlled by them in the same way. No. Mastering your emotions does not mean not having them. I'm close to tears. As you can probably see, I'm a mess. But I'm not going to go back to smoking because of that. I've gotten close a couple times, but because I have that pause, because I have that observer thing, you know, I've been able to sit through it. But it sucks. It sucks, and that's the other thing that I'm going to work on today is shifting my perspective. We are taught in the Western world to just avoid discomfort at all costs. But discomfort is what causes growth. I mean, nature's our greatest teacher, right? All you have to do is look at the planet. What causes evolution? Is it because everything's going great? You know, animals are like, oh, we're healthy, we're safe, we have no predators, we have all the food in the world. Let's just level up real quick. It's not how it works. It comes from discomfort, from pressure, right? And we're taught, yeah, especially in the West, to just like avoid discomfort at all costs. Take this pill, eat this food, smoke this cigarette, drink that alcohol, play these video games, distract yourself this way. And like, I'm not saying we shouldn't soothe ourselves and have healthy things, but you know, the ancients knew that discomfort was a catalyst for growth and for change. And discomfort doesn't have to mean suffering. It's our relationship to it, you know, that causes suffering. And I have been, you know, this is a teaching that I've been working with, but had sort of gotten away from me until today. And I have, you know, been suffering, where today now I'm remembering that I've been working with this teaching, and I'm shifting into it and shifting my perspective, and I am uncomfortable, but it doesn't have to be suffering. It doesn't have to be suffering. I can accept uncomfortability as a good friend, because good friends want us to grow. They don't want us to be held back. You know, they want to see us at our best. They push us. So uncomfortability today, I'm going to really sit with it and make it my good friend. And I will continue this journey onto being free. And I hope that whoever finds this, if you're struggling to quit, that you know you're not alone, that maybe this helps give you a better idea of what to expect. Maybe it will inspire you to keep going if you're struggling in this moment. You are loved and you are held by the universe. You are loved by me. Energetically, I send all y'all a hug. It's really brave to try to overcome this. Maybe write yourself a letter from like the perspective of your higher self, of how awesome you're doing and how proud of yourself that you are. You deserve all of that love and compassion. Be gentle, be kind. Hold tight. It does get better. It has to. You got this.